And just as a reminder, when there was a storm and there's lots of leaves, every one of us, after the meal we sweep around the sala and the street down, and around the office. Also, also the lay people who are here. Maybe some of you have forgotten it. So what is your name again?
Abhijit.
Abhijit. How did you come here? How did you find this place?
YouTube.
On YouTube. We have to take down the channel. But
I was looking for some monastery in India. With forest tradition.
Yeah.
And I encountered the blog by Swapnil. So that's how something.
There's no really. I mean, there's lots of people are in India, but in Sri Lanka there are lots of monasteries. But if you want to learn the Dhamma, you have to come to Thailand, So Abhijit, how old are you?
27.
37. What is your job? What is your profession?
I was an engineer. I was doing a PhD.
An engineer in?
Electrical engineering.
Electrical. Too many electrical engineers. Electrical engineer, computer engineer, astrophysicist, software engineer. And now what you doing?
I was preparing for civil services exam. So I was doing a PhD in US, in New York. Then I quit it after 1.5 years. And then I thought that I should help my country by becoming a civil servant. Because
by becoming a what?
Civil servant.
Civil servant.
Yes. So I was preparing for the examination, and in the middle I encountered, I found the Dhamma. So
you found the Dhamma. And now what you want to do with the rest of your life?
That's the biggest dilemma.
And that's, find out. It is not an easy path, especially for people who come from India. You heard what happened to Swapnil. We ordained him, and after 8 days he left. People from Sri Lanka are a little bit more tougher. They know, they're raised with Buddhism. And lived in monasteries and are accustomed to monastery. But mostly India is Hindu, isn't it? You still have the sects, you still have the Brahmin sect, the warrior sect. Do you still have the warrior sect?
Yeah.
And what else is it? There are 4 sects or what?
One is Brahman.
Brahmin.
And then Kshatriya.
Kshatriya,
Then Vaishya.
Vaishya.
They are the merchants.
Merchants,
And then is the Shudra.
The what?
Shudra.
And what are they?
They do the menial jobs. And below them there are the untouchables.
It still persisted,
A lot of it's not very much prevalent in the city. Means at least not the first 3. But lower it
still pervades. So, what are we going to talk about? What is important in our life? Oh, what is the meaning of our life? When we came down in this life, what was our goal? we all found a way or a place to spiritual practice. That means it doesn't come from this life. Yeah? We must have practiced in the previous life. And if you have practiced in the previous life, normally when we come and are born into this life, we have a certain goal. But, just like the kilesas, when they grow up, they hide the goal and we forget about all our goal. Yeah? And then we are 76 years old, and then we start to remember. Huh? I mean, we have two choices. We live in samsara, we live in the hamster wheel, running, yeah? I mean, the Westerners know hamsters, they love hamsters, the kids love hamsters, yeah? They have hamsters in their hamster boxes and they have a hamster wheel. And these hamsters are running, but not going anywhere. Yeah? So the next time, when you go out, look at, and then you see yourself, running in samsara, not getting out. This life, next life, previous life. How many lives have we lived? Ask yourself. I mean, uncountable number of times we have been. And we probably have been to all spheres, all realms of existence. To the Deva realm, lots of times to the hell realms, even in the animal realms. We've been there everywhere. And we can't get enough of it. We are addicted to this kind of life. Makes us feel like we can do something, we can achieve something, but at the end of our life, what have we achieved? What is it that we can take with us in our next life? Huh? Ask yourself this. It's a very important question. The only thing that we can take with us is our bun and ba. That means our merit and demerit. And the abilities that we acquire. But the abilities that we acquired, or the character that we acquired, it changes in the next life. So nothing is stable. We have to remind ourselves that everything in this universe is anicca, anatta, dukkha. Anicca means impermanent. When we train ourselves in this life to be very generous, that means in the beginning of the next life we are probably very generous, but we can get instantly very, very stingy. Yeah? So this changes. A good nature character, can change, and sometimes we see it even within a lifetime. How a good person, changes into a bad person, or how a bad person changes into a good person. So these things are changes. They are constantly under the changing nature of this universe. And anatta, all these things that we think they are us, do not belong to us. We cannot take our body with us. We cannot take hold of our feelings because they come and disappear. Our thoughts, come and go. Everything comes and goes. Nothing belongs to us. But we think it belongs to us. We believe it's our thoughts, it's our memory, it's our idea, And then we go, and patent our ideas, and say other people who use this idea have to pay money for it. That's how far we have gotten, with this with these possessions. We want to possess, It's the same thing, we come to a monastery, and then we want to possess the space that is given to us. Change it like this, change it to our liking, as if it were ours. And then of course, the more work we put into the more difficult is it to leave behind. we should put our emphasis on the development of the citta, not on the development of other things. Let's have a look at our life. Yeah, remember. I mean, how many things have we done? How many things have we created? How often, how often have we changed this or that? And how attached are we to these things? And the more attached we are, the more difficult it is for us to leave this place or to leave this set of circumstances. So this attachment to the things that we create, or to this body, especially to this body, it is very strong. And that's what is keeping us from one life, going from one life to the next life. The attachment. Or, can be positive attachment, that we like something, or it can be negative attachment. Also this negative attachment, finding somebody as our arch enemy. In the next life, he is still our arch enemy when we meet him. It is a negative attachment. Attachment to ideas, attachment to thoughts, attachment to forms, and especially attachment to this body. We think without this body we cannot think, or we cannot see, or we cannot hear. We just go into samadhi and travel into other realms, while the body is still sitting here, and you still can talk. In a different way, not with your mouth, not with sound. You still can think, and you can travel. Actually, it is much easier to travel, without this heavy body. I mean, look at us, as human beings. What have we created to carry this body around in this world? Created ships, we created cars, we created airplanes, and now we create rockets, to go to other planets. Just for this body. If we wish to do so, we don't need all these things, to go to other different planets, if we want to know what is happening there, or to different realms of existence. Even with our ships, even with our airplanes, we cannot go to the heavenly realm, Or we can't even dive, if we are interested, if the hell really exists, dive, with our submarines, into the hell realm, We created these, to travel in the physical realm, but not in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, with the 30 realms of existence. The only realm of existence that we can see and that we can fiddle with is the realm of the animal realm, The ghost realm, most of us, are more or less afraid of it. Afraid of the ghost realms, or the demon realm, And even more afraid of the hell realm. Why we are afraid of the hell realm? Because we have been there for so many times. And most of the human beings, they live their life, as if there's nothing else, and then when they die, they go into the hell realm. When they come out of the hell realm, they come back to the ghost realm, and then, sooner or later, they come back as human beings. And then they have nothing better to do than, to pave their way, to go to hell again. It must be so nice there when you come out of hell. Mustn't be that nice, when you go to hell. So we have to think about what we want to do with our life. Do we want to open the door of the hamster wheel and start to get out? Or open the door of samsara and start to get enter the stream, like the Lord Buddha said. That would be a goal, Or if you have a higher goal, then don't want to be born again, or want to enter nibbana instantly. Become an anagami, a non-returner, or become an arahant. That can be our goal in this life. And all what we need to do is, follow the path of the Lord Buddha. And the path of the Lord Buddha is very easily described. Yet, because of all our attachment to this world, to the senses and so on, to this body, it seems to be difficult for us to go that path. The path of the Lord Buddha is the fourth noble truth. The truth that leads to the end of dukkha. And that is Sila Samadhi Panya. Sila is the 5 precepts, keeping the 5 precepts. When we are here in the monastery, we keep the 8 precepts. And actually, one of the Dhutangas as well. Because the monks here keep the Dhutanga of eating only once a day. If you're in other monasteries, they might eat, just before noon, a second meal. But here we keep it simple. So that we have most of the time for us, to practice. And what do we practice? Samadhi. Getting the mind completely calm. So that there's nothing going on. That there is no more thought arising, no more memories coming up. Completely calm. And just live, just live in this amazing sphere of just the experience. Without anybody telling us, what we experience. Without this commentator who constantly tells us what to do, what to like, what not to like, and what not to do. And everybody should be familiar with it. Oh, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. This kind of food is not nice, that kind of food is nice. Let me have more of this, let me have more of that. Or today it is hot. This is the commentator that you constantly live with. And that you cherish, and you take it as your master. Because whenever this commentator says, I don't like this, then all what you do is says, yes, my Lord. He's the Lord of you. And this Lord is nothing else than avijja. And avijja has 3 armies. The army of greed, the army of hate, and the army of delusion. And that's when we really start to practice, that's what we encounter. Because avijja, or our Lord, doesn't let us go out of avijja, or diminish avijja, or get rid of avijja, without any fight. He's going to fight very hard. Just like any king or tyrant, he doesn't let any subjects go out. Think about, if you remember East Germany, was a communist state, whenever one of the subjects wanted to go out, he was killed. Or now it is North Korea, the same thing. They have to escape. And that's the same thing with our Lord. But our Lord, we think, it is fine. We don't know anything else, or we don't know better. That's why we keep him. Yes, you should know. Yes. I just do what you say, and then I hopefully have no dukkha. But we have lots of dukkha. Remember that. One of the reasons why we came here is we wanted to find a way out of dukkha. And dukkha is the first noble truth. Dukkha is dissatisfaction, discomfort, dis-ease, pain, suffering. And everybody of us knows this. That is the first noble truth. And the better we understand this first noble truth, the more motivation we have to go the path. Because the path of samadhi, the path of panya, of wisdom, is not an easy path. Because we have to investigate, we have to get rid of our attachment, not by letting it go, because we can't let it go. We have to investigate, what we are attached to and why are we attached to. So why are we so attached to this body? Because we think it is nice. Whatever goes into the body is nice. Whatever comes out of the body we don't want to look at. Okay, so let's start to look at, what this body turns everything that is nice. It is just like a factory. Whatever goes in, it turns out to be shit. Do you think anybody would buy these products? Anybody in this world? From this factory? But we love it. We love this factory and call it body. We put all these things in, and we think it is nice, it is tasty, it is fine. And whatever comes out, we don't like to see. It's disgusting. So this body is nothing else than the factory that turns everything that we like into something that we dislike. And now you can understand, like, dislike, is rooted within the body. So greed and hatred is rooted within the body. So the first thing, once we get calm, once there are no more thoughts and no more memories coming up and our mind can stay on the object, then we start to investigate the body. What is the body? Why is it, that I like the things that go inside and I don't like the things that go out? So what is the mechanism of the body? Open up the body and see for yourself. In the moment you really open it up, you feel disgust. You want to throw up or you fall unconscious. Ask any doctor, who opens his first corpse. What happens to him? He either throws up or he falls unconscious. Because he sees this mess that we so much care about, that we so much love. And we have to see it as well. We have to see this mess of the body. Do we like to see the blood or the poos or these things coming out of this body? We don't even like the hair that we so much love, and take care of. We don't like to fall it in our food, because then we find it disgusting, the food together with the hair. Or the fingernails, as long as they are on the body, we think it is nice. The moment we cut them off, we find it disgusting. Just like the hair, we take a shower, we wash our hair because it becomes filthy. It becomes greasy and filthy and dirty. We wash it and then it feels nice and soft. And then we don't want to, look, at the drainage of our shower, and take the hair that has fallen off because we find it disgusting. Why? Why is that? Look at it, investigate it. Just these things, these are just the outside things of the body. When the moment the hair comes off, we find it disgusting. The moment the nails come off, we find it disgusting. When our teeth break out, we also find it disgusting. When the poos or the blood comes out, some people can't even see their own blood, they fall unconscious. That's in our body the whole time. It actually makes the body work, But we don't like to see. So the first thing is, when we go on the Fourth Noble Truth, the path that leads to the end of dukkha, when we come here to the monastery, we keep the 8 precepts, and that's it. And then we go and develop samadhi until the mind gets completely still. And that's where happiness or peacefulness or anything arises that is pleasant. We actually don't want to come out. But the moment we come out, we want to go back in. That is upachara samadhi. Upachara samadhi is access samadhi. And then from there, if you can stay on the object, on the breath, be it the breath or the Buddha, that we take as our object, and then we can decide, to go on, to go deeper. Deeper into samadhi. The first thing is, in upachara samadhi, there are no more thoughts, there is no more memories coming up, and we feel happy. Don't go to this happiness, don't go to this feeling that arises because of our hard work. Just go on, stay with the Buddha or stay with the breath until the breath stops, and then we jump to the one who knows that the breath stopped. And then we completely disappear from this world. And then we know this world doesn't really exist. It exists in our thoughts, in our imagination, in everything. If you go into this appana samadhi, in the state of appana samadhi, it is, it is like the privy of nibbana. And the first thought, if you have a thought, when you come out, is, I want to go back. I don't want to live in this world, where I constantly have to act on these sensations that constantly attack my body or attack my senses. Yeah? All these senses that we have, the 6 senses that we have, constantly there is some information coming in, and we constantly have to react to these senses. Or it's too hot, yeah, or it's too cold, yeah. I'm too sweaty, or I'm hungry, all these things, yeah. We have to react to the senses, and this keeps us busy all our life, until we die. But we like this busyness. Yeah? We don't like the stillness. So we can go into Apana Samadhi, so we follow the Buddha or we follow the breath until the breath stops, and then we just jump, yeah. I say just, it is, yeah. It's a bit tricky, to jump into that, but knows, yeah, that the breath stops. So don't get afraid. The breath really stops. Or the Buddha, yeah. Until you can't, the Buddha just doesn't disappear, or the breath doesn't disappear. Yeah? It's the interest in your breath or in the Buddha that disappears. It's not the breath. The breath actually becomes so clear and so what is it, Chat? So it becomes so clear and so predominant that you have no interest in anything else than the breath. And then you see that the breath becomes more and more subtle, and then you notice that the breath stops. And then you jump to the knowingness that knows that the breath stops. The breath doesn't disappear. Remember this very well. Or the Buddha just doesn't disappear. Or the Buddha doesn't get weaker. It is only our interest in the Buddha or our interest in the breath that gets weaker and let us think that the breath disappeared. Yeah? When the breath disappears, we bring it back. When the Buddha disappears, we bring it back. Until it really stops. You understand that? Yeah? Open your ears, yeah? Understand that the breath really stops and the Buddha really stops, because we cannot concentrate even on one thought. In the moment we notice that, we jump also to this knowingness. But before that, we have to develop this knowingness. We have to know at every moment at the time, how is the breath? Is it at the beginning of the in-breath? Yeah? Is it now at the middle? Is it now towards the end? Does it now change into the out-breath? Does the out-breath now change into the in-breath? How is the out-breath? Is it the beginning? Is it the middle? Is it at its height? Or is it now slowly fading out? Yeah? Giving room for the next in-breath. We are so busy with this knowingness, with knowing the breath, that we can't even know anything else. The whole world outside disappears. And you will see that. You will notice it if your concentration gets strong. The body seems to disappear. The more we are concentrated, the more we are not aware of the body anymore. We are just aware of the breath, or we are just aware of the Buddha. And everything what happens outside of our body, or outside, then sooner or later, outside of our chitta, we don't even notice. That is when we really get concentrated. But we don't need this level of concentration for doing our investigation. We need the level of concentration that is called upachara, samadhi, when thoughts and memories stop. And we can stay on one point, be it the Buddha or be it the breath. And then when we come out, we are concentrated enough to start our investigation. Because investigation also can lead us to some calm. But both of this, investigation to develop panya or to develop wisdom should not be mixed up with samadhi. When we sit down or when we do walking meditation, then we say, for the next 2 hours I do just be with the Buddha or just do calm meditation, and then nothing else. Then we don't jump to investigation of the body because some thoughts come up or some images are come up. And the same thing is with investigation. When we are investigation, we take one of the objects, be it one of the body object, be it the whole body, or be it the part of the body, be it the face, or be it the skin, or be it the hair, or be it and then we take this and we stay on this and start to visualize it. Once we can visualize it, we can dissect it and see the nature of it. Then next time we take another object and see the nature of it. And then we compare it, sooner or later we compare it. What is the nature of the skin, and how does it differ from the nature of our nails? Huh? Or from the hair? And then we can start to compare. But if you can't concentrate on one object, if you get easily distracted, then we have to do some more samatha. But we should not switch. When I tell myself now I investigate for an hour, the body, then I stay with the body or with the body part. When I say for the next 2 hours, I stay with the Buddha or with the breath, then I should stay with the Buddha or with the breath and not switch into anything else. Because this switching nature is that what is detrimental to our practice. The only exception for the rule is that when there is too much, when we do sitting meditation and there is too much pain, and we cannot concentrate on the Buddha anymore or on the breath anymore, then we start to investigate pain. What is pain? Understood? And Alex, you're tired, huh? Understood? Yeah? Any questions? Andrew, you're leaving on Monday, or? You are leaving on Monday, or? So has your mind become calm a little bit? Mm-hmm. And that's why you want to leave. Can be quite boring, a calm mind, huh? We are not used to it. So, any questions, huh? Ella? Abhijit?
When for a month, I was doing Anapanasati.
Yeah?
At the tip of my nose.
Yeah?
But after that, nowadays what is happening is, as I focus on the tip of my nose gets blocked. And it has created a bit of sinus infection. I don't know.
Yeah, then take around, take...
In my head.
Yeah, you try to concentrate too strongly on the tip of the nose. Just slightly, just know that you're there. Yeah, but try it out now with breathing in and do with breathing out. That shouldn't block your nose. Because then you do not concentrate on the tip of the nose, you concentrate more on the Buddha. Yeah? Try it out, yeah. Or try it out just with the Buddha, how it works. Yeah? But one of the hindrances will come up, yeah. Something else will come up, yeah. So the moment we see one of the hindrances are coming up, we have to fight it. Yeah? Fighting doesn't mean, to pressure through it. Fighting means, getting clever and finding a way out of it. Yeah? How to overcome, how to overcome boredom, how to overcome laziness, how to overcome this. Yeah? You have to ask yourself, okay, I see I get, whenever I sit down, I get tired, fall asleep. How do I overcome it? And after the meditation, you ask yourself, and then you try several ways, or you ask the question. When you have the opportunity to ask me, then I can tell you a few tricks, yeah. And then you try these tricks, and some of them will work for a while, and others might not work, might not work for you. But over the time, you will become clever and can overcome these obstacles. That's just in the beginning. There are lots of obstacles. Yeah? So don't get disheartened by it, yeah, and then say, it doesn't work, it blocks my nose now, and so on, yeah. Or I get a headache, yeah. A headache, is trying to push too much, yeah. Actually, what is, with the breath, when we do the breath, yeah, all our concentration is there around the tip of the nose, yeah. Wherever you feel the breath, yeah, it can be here, and it can be at the upper lips, or it can be at the tip of the nose, or it can be underneath the nose, yeah, or whatever. And whenever the mind goes out, we just bring it back. Yeah? Just very gentle, just draw it back, okay, here. Yeah? And then here. And then here. But if we push it too much, then of course, all sorts of side effects. Yeah? Arise. Yeah? It's the same with the Buddha. Yeah? But sometimes we have to push. Yeah? Sometimes if for instance, if this is such a nice thought, I don't want to go back. Yeah? Then we have to push, we have to really pull. Yeah? That's where we have to push or pull. Yeah? Pull the mind, pull the chitta back to the Buddha, or pull it back to the breath. Yeah? That's where we have to use force. But once it stays there, we don't need any force. Yeah? We just observe. Yeah? And if you don't know what is observing, most of us Western people, coming from the civilized society, doesn't know what it means to observe. Here, you have a forest, observe the animals. You cannot control the animals, but you can observe them. And lots of people try to control the breath. It should be like this, it should be like that, it should be like this, And that's where all these problems start. We were not aware of our breath for most of our life. Huh? No? And now we need to control it. Yeah? Whatever. That is the interesting thing. We need to control the things that we think, we should be with the breath, we need to control it. No, you should observe it. Yeah? Just like observing, you can observe how the leaves are falling from the trees. Now it's a time, or how the animals run up, there are some, or just observe, sit down, and observe the dogs, You cannot control the dogs, but you know every moment what they do. And that's exactly what we need for our meditation on the breath or our meditation on the Buddha. With the Buddha, of course, we have to install it, until it runs by itself, and then we can observe it. Okay, understood? Yeah? We, especially when we come from the West or from a civilized, we need to control the things. Yeah? That's all. Observe. And observing doesn't wish the things to be otherwise. Oh, my breath should be calm. No. We know that the breath is not calm. We know that the breath is rough. We know that the breath is subtle. We know that the breath is slow, or fast. That's it. Okay. Understood? Question? Any more questions?